The spoken word is the most basic form of communication. Poetry nights and festivals provide a platform for modern women to talk about modern issues. And where women's voices may not have been heard in the past, today they are loud and proud with their outspoken poetic thoughts.
Really unapologetically stand up and say what you think.
Where you can really release your inner thoughts and your surroundings.
And get to share it as a spoken word performer, it's just absolutely magical.
Or bring attention to issues that are really important to me. But then at the same time, I don't want a poem to be a rant.
It is kind of validating because it's like, okay, maybe I have something worth saying and maybe I have experiences worth sharing.
I think it's important for people to be able to speak their minds. I think it's important to have a sense of humour.
I think for me, spoken word is a way of getting to the heart of a topic really quickly.
It's basically bringing something really private and making it something public.
What it provides basically is a platform for people to talk about specific issues.
Well, spoken word to me, it's an art form and somewhere where you can really release your inner thoughts.
Knife crime. What effect has it had on a generation? Drugs, money, violence. Does it really lead to silence? Silence for who?
So I don't really see myself as a spoken word artist. I just see myself as an artistic woman who likes to deliver messages.
My mind all in a daze, feel like getting high today. Take me to another place. It's too much a disgrace. Not sure how much more I can take. And it's not even my family. I've got to pray. Oh Lord, I pray. Why, oh why, I hear them say.
I think a lot of people can relate to kind of stuff I write about because it's like everyday life and what's going on in your surroundings. Like the poem I wrote about with knife crime, that really came about from things that I was affected by because I've lost quite a few people to knife crime and a bit of gun crime as well.
Thou shalt not kill. That's one of the 10 commandments. Seems like that one got abandoned and the devil said jump on the bandwagon. Because it really is that simple. People are getting killed for no good reason. And the blade wasn't made for that, no way.
And I'm a dead positive person and I like to spread my positivity around. So if I can help just one person on one day to get forward in even just the next 10 minutes of their life, then that's all good.
Because it's real. Knife crime really is a big deal. And the pain, it never heals. Where to next from here, it's real.
I think spoken word, what it means to me is having a place, a platform to really voice things that I care about.
And there's things that I've been able to talk about through it that I haven't been able to talk about anywhere else.
I've always felt as if I was different in some way.
I'd come out of an abusive relationship and went through a process of healing and not wanting to identify as a victim and not wanting to kind of be having the situation define me and be beaten down by it. And I thought I'm going to pull up my bootstraps and thrive and just rise above this.
Scratch my surface gently. It doesn't have to hurt.
I think we struggle to connect at the moment. We struggle to connect face to face. We struggle to connect with our spoken words. And so I think spoken word and performance poetry offers a really great platform.
If I let you close enough to look at past chapters in my book, I've got learnings to reread, yearnings to unleash, desires to unlatch, so please scratch my surface.
I often see that women's voices are held really close and there's a reluctance or a fear to kind of share words, share opinions, share views. And there's often not a lot of space given to that, you know.
I should tell you, I wear armor underneath that is thin but strong, and I've been wearing it for so long, I worry I can't remember how to take it off.
I can't believe the connections that I've made with people and the friendships that I've fostered. It's, oh no, I knew I was going to get emotional about this. it came at a time when I was really lacking community in my life. And yeah, there was a kind of synchronicity to it, and the ability to connect with people in that way meant so much to me. And it was one of those kind of reminders that sometimes you're brought the things in life that you don't know that you need. And I apparently that's what I really needed, both a kind of creative outlet in poetry, but also a way to really connect with really, really good people.
So scratch my surface gently. Remind me I'm alive with the power to heal and to love and to fucking thrive.
Probably the biggest and most attractive part of going to spoken word nights is the community element there. You will end up with people who, if they were in the same bar, probably wouldn't talk to each other, but because there's this art form bringing people together, it gives people stuff to discuss.
So for me, it is honestly just such a cool, friendly environment, and it's fun and it's cathartic. It's everything I would want, you know, a hobby or a career or a job to be.
I think most situations where spoken word is happening is actually quite an intimate experience between the audience and the performer, because you're talking about things that are so personal. Didn't you know? White men invented everything. His rotting breath spills into my side of the room as he explains to me my humanity. In my poetry, I tend to focus on my own experiences. So in the past, I've written, well, the poems that I've performed have been about issues of gender, race, religion, those kinds of things. But what I tend to do is kind of like bring in the personal side of it, but try and make like a broader point about that. The first time my brother comes home from school and uses the word packy, I flinch. The idea of speaking without interruptions is that idea that when I'm on this stage right now, whilst I'm kind of inviting you to listen to what I have to say, I'm not inviting you to discuss it. It's not up for debate. It's not up for you to say whether it's right or wrong. It is how I feel, and it's legitimate, and you have to listen to it. It used to be a joke that I didn't finish my sentences, that I was always ready to be cut off, ready to be talked over, ready to be ignored. It used to be a joke that there was silence because nobody listens to silence. Having like heard like stories from like my family, etc., about like, yeah, you know, there's this time in the 70s, 80s, etc., where, you know, this word is a frequent word that people get called. I think it was just quite like, it kind of struck me that like, oh, like this was actually a really painful thing for a lot of people. What hangs in the silence is that is because Packy deserves no respect. That to say it might remind them that our skins are not white, and to our ancestors, this was never home. And then that's why I talk about my granddad and kind of like my grandparents migrating to England and all of this, because I kind of want to talk about that wider story, that like this isn't just, you can't, like, can we just take words out of context? And that context is there, the fact that they've gone through all this stuff and then we're here. And also, you know, there's other ideas in that as well, that like if you continue to use the word packy but you continue to use it only pejoratively, and you only say it when you mean something like that someone's done something bad or someone's annoying, then has that really been reclaimed at all, or are you still using it in the way that it was used by the oppressor? And in that case, what's the point? But didn't I know? White men invented everything. The art of talking, the art of being one. They will lie to you that you cannot exist outside their mouths, and thus you must come in bite-sized chunks, palatable. But he does not know that I have invented him. He is only white because I am not, and he is man because he calls me woman. It's really claustrophobic and suffocating when you're not allowed to exist as more than like a category in someone else's head. And this kind of thing as well of like people going, oh, you know, you're made up of a gender, a race, a religion, you know, or you're all these different things. It's like, well, no, I am just one thing. Like at any one time, I am one thing. We spit out sorry and vomit attempts at assimilation all over the grass. For assimilation without acceptance is not quite that. The rain comes and washes the dust from our hands, the colour of pain, and this is what it is to be Packy.
I think it's important to try and do as much as you can to make the world a better place, and I suppose my contribution to that is writing poems and trying to reach people through these poems. So if a poem somehow captures your imagination or your experience, then that's wonderful. A lot of people feel that they're caught between two things, that they're in a limbo or that they're misunderstood in some way, and poetry is one way of helping to understand our complexities. Poetry, in your darkest hour, reaches out a hand and says, "I'm here," and holds it. I was conceived between the D and the dawn. I was born in the city of crag and stone. I'm not a daughter to one father. I'm not a sister to one brother. I am light and dark. I am father and mother. I was conceived between the D and the dawn. I was born in the city of crag and stone. I'm not forgiving, and I'm not cruel. I will not go against one side. I'm not wise or a fool.